Today we will explore the amazing geography and urban layout of the third most populated city in the world. With 31 million people in its metro area, that city is none other than Delhi, India. So let's start. You see, when it comes to Delhi, there are two levels that you need to understand. One is the city proper, the one that you may see labeled on a map as Delhi. It is the national capital territory, this one in red. Here we have a closer look. It's divided on all of these districts. And there's the national capital region, which encompasses not only the city proper, but also the conurbated areas, which include urban areas inside the states of Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, and Rajasthan. It is here in the national capital region that most of the growth is happening. It includes satellite cities such as Gurugram, Faridabad, Noida, Ghaziabad, and many others. Together, this whole region is inhabited by the 31 million that we see here. Unlike so many other megacities around the world, this city is quite spread out. You see there are many spaces, some green spaces, some rural areas, in between the built-up areas. Let's start with the geography of Delhi. You see, this is how Delhi started, as a very small town on the western bank of the Jamuna River. The topography is mostly flat, although you can find small hills called the Aravalli Hills that traverse the city from north to south. Here we can see it in greater detail. The Aravalli Hills start right here, west to central Delhi, and extend south. And as you can see, these hills are not so high. Inside the city proper, most of the hilltops only reach around 250 meters, and the formation to the south would reach heights of around 300 meters. So the Aravalli Hills may not form such a dramatic skyline, but they for sure make New Delhi a very green city. You can see that most of the green areas in the metro area are where actually the Aravalli Hills take place. Now let's focus on the Yamuna River. I was surprised to see that, unlike in many other cities, the river does not form a focal point of the city. Most of the riverside is actually empty space that I would like to think that they use as a buffer area when the monsoon arrives, because otherwise, if you were in another city, you would see some riverfront properties, a pedestrian waterfront, or even some industrial areas, which they appear to have somewhere over here, but it's not such a heavy industry as you would find in many other cities. If you live here in Delhi, you can tell me what you think that is. So instead, the focus of the city has been rather inland. The historical center is this one, and the modern commercial zones are located all around this city. And that gives me opportunity to zoom out and show you that Delhi is a quite polycentric city. It is indeed a mosaic of planned and unplanned areas. On some areas you can see thickly tied cities. In some other areas you can see quite a lot of green spaces. And in some other areas you can find a more residential and grid-like structure. The urban sprawl stretches in every direction. This is also quite unique to Delhi, that unlike most other cities, it's not a centralized city. It has many cores, it has many downtowns. And in between those downtowns, those cores, there are many patches with different levels of planning. So let's start putting name to these areas. And for that, let's go back a bit to the administrative boundaries of this time the National Capital Territory, which on the first map I show you is the purple area, this one. This central area is the old part of the city. It's actually this one. Let's turn on the labels. So this is Central Delhi, the old part of the town. As you see, the streets here are winding lanes that have been built over the centuries. Let's take a look at a few of them. You see very narrow corridors, but still, as this is the very center of the city, it's quite easy to see that there's a lot of commerce here. Maybe let's go to another one nearby here. And you see more and more commerce even. Well, yeah, this street is full of street vendors, all kind of stores, bookstores, maybe some clothes, maybe they're selling some clothes. So yeah, this is the old part of the town. Now let's go to the area of New Delhi, which is the colonial part of the town. This part was actually designed by the British Edward Lutyens in the 1910s and 1920s, where the building of this area took place. So let's see how this area looks like. More open spaces, more plant, very car-centric by the way, but still it's obvious that this area has been receiving a lot of investment because it's covered by a big canopy of trees. It looks nicer, it looks wider than the old part. And now let's move further out and we encounter the post-independence neighborhoods. These are more residential ones, but still let's explore them a bit. Yeah, we see a more residential street, nice houses. You can see that this area is a bit less congested, but it seems like a pretty nice area to live. Some middle class houses, some stores, some real estate agents. Let's explore a different area. Let's go to one in the south. Let's see, not New Delhi. Let's go to one in South Delhi. This one looks like a chaotic off-ramp, as one of the many that you will encounter in such a chaotic megacity as this one. Yeah, lots of activity on the streets, but still very car-centric, as this area of the street, this side of the street is cut off by this highway from the other side of the street. Let's explore a new one. Yeah, this is more a calmer part of the city, more residential, maybe low-income neighborhood, but it's still not a slum. Well, maybe some parts of it are. We can see that some places have received a little bit of investment. And now let's go a bit further out to the satellite cities to see how they look like. In this case, let's go first to Noida. Okay. It seems like Noida has a tech park and has been receiving a lot of investment in these days. Some high rises, apartment and condos. Now let's go to another satellite city. Let's see Gurugram. Also, there seems to be a tech park that they have built here. Let's see Faridabad. Okay, this area has also been receiving a bit of investment. And now you may be wondering how people even move around this gargantuan megacity. Well, the answer is the Delhi Metro, which is actually one of the largest and most efficient metro systems in the world. It is a clean and safe way to get around for Delhi Heights, and it has lines and reaching every corner of the capital region. It stretches further south to Faridabad, Noida and Greater Noida, Gurugram, and north it has lines extending to Badugar, some of the northern cities here, Ghaziabad, and it even has lines extending to the airport, in which I want to focus a little bit, because this is one of the busiest airports in Asia, with 151 routes spanning all around the globe. It's one of the most connected airports in the world. Some of the farthest destinations you can get from Delhi is to Chicago, Toronto, and even to the North American West Coast, with flights to San Francisco and Vancouver. So the Indira Gandhi International Airport is a huge and important gateway from and to India. Terminal 3 is where most of the international flights depart and arrive from. And to wrap up the transportation section, I want to focus a little bit on the rail transportation network in India, which has as a central axis New Delhi. Here we can see that the two lines with the fastest speeds both depart from the capital region to the cities of Mumbai and to the cities of the east. So we can appreciate here that Delhi is the nodal point of all the transportation networks in India. And the last part of this video, I want to dedicate it to the pedestrian areas of Delhi. And what I mean by that is where actually the locals hang out when they have some spare time. Despite being a very car-centric place, walking is still one of the best ways to experience the city and to experience the local culture. The first one is none other than Chandni Chowk, the old part of the city, that besides the alleyways that I have already showed you, it is also packed with all kinds of mosques, bazaars, and temples. These ones are some of them, like the Fatehpuri Masjid. This is a nice view of the city. Another great temple is the Jama Masjid. Look, what a beautiful temple this is. For sure, coming here is well worth all the hassle. And of course, the Red Fort, which is the most important part of the city, and most important mosque, I would say. The next walkable hangout that we're gonna visit is Connaught Place, the central park inside these concentric circles are where lots of students and citizens gather. Let's take a look. Yeah, lots of green space. You can see some Delhi Heights taking some time here. Yeah, it seems like a nice place to hang out with your friends or colleagues. And the areas around Connaught Place are full of commerce and activity. Many bazaars and stores are located here. But these two places can get a bit crowded and still full of tourists. But if you want a more peaceful walk, take a look to Lodi Garden, which is a favorite between Delhi Heights for its well-maintained gardens and ancient tombs. Here you will be able to find lots of joggers, people practicing yoga, or just having a walk with their friends. The environment invites you to take a more relaxed approach and just enjoy of the scenery. But if you want something more modern, you can go to Housecass Fort, which is a more trendy spot for taking a walk. It used to be a quiet neighborhood next to a reservoir, but now it has been converted to a trendy area with boutiques, cafes, and lots of activities. It's sponsored by local entrepreneurs. You can see here trendy shops. Now, if you fancy something more trendy and maybe do a little shopping, you can go to Sector 18 in Noida, which is a modern industrial commercial zone. It has walkable areas as well as office spaces. This is a newer part of the city, so of course you will encounter lots of construction in between newly developed shopping malls and very high-tech office spaces for tech parks. And there's also Cyber City in Noida. Cyber City has a very modern tech park, which is on par to many others in the Western world. And finally, let's not forget traditional flea markets, such as Sarojini Market. This one right here is a super crowded commercial space. Here you will find everything you can imagine. As you can see, it gets really crowded, but it's still worth visiting if you want to experience the real India. And let's finish this section with a place that I just discovered that I find truly amazing, the Buddha Jayanti Park. This one is the one I will go to. It's right in the middle of the city, but it looks so peaceful and so traditional. If I ever go to Delhi, I will go there. So this is Delhi for you, a strategic crossroads on a fertile plain. But look closer, beyond the traffic and the scale, and you will find its pulse. It is a city built on layers, constantly reinventing itself within the framework set by the river, ridge and road. Delhi is not just India's capital, it's a geographical giant.